I'm actually quite excited to review my July expenses and investments with you guys in today's video. A quick recap for those of you who didn't catch me budgeting for the month. I spent half of it in Jeju and the other half back home in Singapore. For all the expense categories that I'm tracking, I budgeted a total of $2,442.14 and it excludes two categories, business expenses and travel. For those of you who are wondering, Jeju isn't considered travel in this context. It wasn't a typical holiday that was filled with sightseeing or the touristy stuff. I was literally just plucking myself out of Singapore, moving to Jeju, going about my usual routine like my morning walks by the beach, working from cafes or the Airbnb, and most importantly, spending time with the auntie and uncle from Jeju. Now that we have that out of the way, you have a little bit of a background, let's dive into the numbers. Let's go. Before we go into expenses, I want to start with investments. I've been trying to shift my mindset a little. I think it's easy to get caught up tracking how much we are spending, but one thing I realized what's even more important is whether am I actively building towards my financial future through investing. So instead of just looking at my Notion finance tracker, seeing what's left over at the end of the month, then deciding what to invest into, I want to be more intentional about prioritizing my investments upfront. So in this recent video, my Singapore stock portfolio was standing at $104,000 with a projected dividend yield of 5.24% based on 2024's dividend history. I decided that I was going to grow this so that the dividends cover more than just my monthly fixed expenses. I wanted to cover some of my insurance premiums as well. So after evaluating my stock portfolio holdings that's filled with banks, retail, and hospitality REIT, I decided to enter into a new sector, healthcare. So I bought 2,500 units of Parkway Life REIT at $4.01, and everything else was my recurring investments into the US stock market. As a Singaporean, I believe in investing in Singapore. It's a way to grow my wealth while investing in the future of my own country, and because it's in our local currency, there's no foreign currency risk as well. If you have not heard this news, our local stock market is getting a boost with MAS injecting $1.1 billion into small to mid-cap companies in Singapore. If you rather not pick individual stocks, you can start with something like StashAway's Singapore investing portfolio. It's a low-risk portfolio designed for long-term growth through capital appreciation and dividends. And here's how it's been performing. The portfolio invests in a mix of established Singapore assets, offering exposure to blue-chip stocks like Singapore banks such as DBS, AAA-rated bonds, and REITs that provide some passive income via the dividends from real estate companies like CapitaLand and Keppel. There's no minimum amount to start investing, low fees, and you can withdraw anytime. Right now, StashAway is running a special promotion to help new clients like you kickstart your investing journey. When you invest $3,000, you'll receive $60 worth of an ETF of your choice. Choose from Singapore equities or 4 other expertly curated ETFs. The more you invest, the bigger your rewards. Invest by 31st August 2025 to make the most out of this SG60 promotion. You can find out more in the link below. So I invested a total of $11,921 in the month of July. Now let's go into expenses. Let's go. Out of the 13 categories I budgeted for, 7 of them I've kept within my budget and 6 of them I went over. Let's start with those in red. For shopping, I planned to spend $100 but actually spent $265. I couldn't resist all the t-shirts I saw on sale. I bought a few and also 2 jeans. Korea's quality of clothes is honestly not too bad, which is why I didn't mind spending a bit more. I also bought this cup, which I've been eyeing for a while I was there. And it's cost I think $15. So that's for the category of shopping. I don't do this every single month, so it was fine. I feel fine spending a little bit more than what I've budgeted for. For groceries, when budgeting for this category in June, I forgot to account for my recurring Nespresso subscription, and this cost $70 a month. If I added that in, I would have been $20-ish over my budget. So one thing I got that cost $51 out of this category is this Illy coffee grounds from Shopee. The Airbnb I stayed in Jeju provided this, and I really loved having it first thing in the morning. If you're a coffee lover and you've not tried this, try it. I got this filter as well. I compared prices between eMart in Korea and Illy's official website in Singapore. Buying it on Shopee after you add the vouchers is definitely cheaper. One tin costs $12.75. If you want the exact link to the product, I'll leave it down in the description box below. And everything else in this groceries category, $123.74, was the effective amount I spent on stuff like fruits, almond milk, bread, cabbage, etc. while I was living in Jeju. Third category, meals with family. I under budgeted for this as well. I treated the Jeju auntie and uncle while I was there, and I classify it here because they're practically family to me. But even so, I have 2 weeks that I'm going to be here in Singapore, and $100 was honestly too little. I don't force myself to restrict this category because it's something I'm happy to spend on. It forces me, or rather, I'm more intentional spending time with family if I budget more for this. That's meals with family. Personal care, I forgot that I had to stock up on contact lens while I was there. 6 months worth cost $92.35. All others was facial mask, my usual toner, serum, and I also bought this shampoo in Korea. It was my first time trying it, also from the Airbnb. Because I have frizzy hair, this really helped a lot. But little did I know that actually Shopee has it as well. Instead of buying it from Korea and putting it in my luggage, and because of the air pressure, it actually burst in my luggage as well. But yep, it's on Shopee if you guys want. It's great for frizzy hair. That's why I bought it. Gifts, I also went over budget, but that's fine. Not every single month I spend that much on gifts anyway. And lastly, insurance. I forgot to account for one new insurance plan I had. So every single month for insurance, I'm paying $506.29 instead of $477. So that's all the categories that I went over budget. And for all others, I've managed to keep within my budget. One category to highlight, I think some of you might be curious, is how much does it cost whenever I dine out in Korea? A minimum of $10 for something a little bit more fancy like this 12-piece sushi that's really high quality. It costs $18.57. If I were to have something like this in Singapore, it would definitely cost maybe $30 to $40. So in that category for that 2.5 weeks plus a little bit in Singapore, I spent $199. Last but not the least, business expenses, running costs to maintain and create videos on my channel, equipments, setup upgrades, etc. came up to a total of $1,038.68. All of this is what I've spent for the month of July. The last part of this video, I wanted to share with you guys how much does it cost for me to live in Korea for this 15 days, just so you can also plan something like that. Spending some time alone in Jeju really changed my life a lot. You can refer to this video. I shared a little bit more about that as well. For accommodations, 11 nights I spent on my own in this Airbnb was pretty expensive. I'll be very honest. The first time I saw this place, I was very hesitant because they didn't have a washing machine, and having to go out to do the laundry at a laundromat is really time consuming. But since this was a short stay, I decided to just book it because I saw it was really very nice. $134 a night plus $5 utility fees I paid in cash per day. The last few nights I stayed at this Airbnb where I did my 1 month stay in 2022 while remote working. It's really affordable. A month it costs $900-ish all in. Per night is about $30 to $40. I'll leave the Airbnb link down in the description box below. It isn't small at all, really spacious, and the toilet is huge. There's also a washer and dryer with a full kitchen with all the tools that you need to live comfortably. I rented a car this time while I was there, an electric Kona for 15 days, and it cost $514.09. If I used the Trust Cashback card, it would have been a bit cheaper, a little under $500, but because I wanted to earn miles, I used the DBS Women's World Mastercard. My flight to Korea was technically free on business class via SIA, covered in this video that I'll link up above and down in the description box below. I only had to pay 109 Canadian dollars, and my flight home from Jeju to Singapore was $170 with bags. So all in all, upfront cost, I had to pay $2,308.86 for living 2 weeks in Jeju. So that's all for July expenses and investments. I'll cover budgeting for August in another video because I think this is really long already, and I've also not finalized my plans for the month of August yet. So I'll keep you guys updated. Let me know what you think of today's video down in the comment section below, or you can let me know in my Telegram community. I'll put this QR code over here. If you want to join, you can. As usual, have a great week ahead, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.